The month of April is going to kind of feel like the dust has just settled after all of the upheaval that we experienced in the month of March. The month of March for so many of us was so chaotic. That month alone had 2 eclipses, 2 planets in retrograde, and if that was not enough, we also had the planet Neptune enter the sign of Aries, since it has not been in since 1861. The major transits that are going to be happening in April are the fact that we have the planet Neptune in the sign of Aries officially for the first month we've experienced in 164 years. And we're also going to experience both Venus and Mercury going direct in the middle of this month. I feel like this month in particular is going to feel more like the dust has just settled after March. So the themes that you experience throughout the month of March are now going to start to come into fruition in April. April is also kind of like the calm before the storm, as we have some major planetary transits happening in May, June, and July that involve generational planets, not necessarily like, the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, even Jupiter. We're going to be experiencing, like generational planets shifting. So this month particular in April, I feel like is going to be more about this new energy that we're going to be stepping into. Is going to be more focused on the fact that we're going to be having Neptune in the sign of Aries, and we're all going to be getting adjusted to this new energy that we're now going to be experiencing. We've had the planet Neptune in the sign of Pisces for about 14 years, which has been a very, very long time. Neptune is a generational planet. It takes 165 years to fully transit the entire zodiac. So that is why we have not seen Neptune in the sign of Aries since 1861. I feel like we are all going to experience such a shift because Neptune really likes the sign of Pisces. It's in its home sign there. So things were a little bit more chill when Neptune was in Pisces, but when it shifts into the sign of Aries in this month, things are going to get a little chaotic. Aries is more about like the fast-paced, the drive, the ambition, and Neptune is more about confusion. It's more about illusion. It's more about like creative things, and it's all about dreams, prophecy, and things like that. When it's in the sign of Aries, Aries is very fast and like driven. So when you combine those two together, we're going to have a lot of confusion around other people's actions. We're going to have a lot of people doing things, but then having different motivations behind them. We're going to see a lot of duality because Neptune can kind of indicate 2 things happening at the same time, but there being like a film over them and like a layer. So you only see things on the surface level. You don't really see everything else happening behind the scenes. And with Aries being in that sign, it's going to bring a lot of aggressive actions around that. And April is going to be the first month that we experience this. Neptune is going to enter Aries for just a few months before it dips back into Pisces and re-enters it for the next 14 years in February. So this is going to be the sneak peek of what happens, like how we're going to experience Neptune and Aries. I also feel like it's going to be more focused on Piscean themes, Pisces energy. Pluto is going to continue to be in Aquarius. It's staying in Aquarius for a very long time. We're also going to still have the planet Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, and we're also still having Mars in the sign of Cancer first part of April, but after April 19th, it's going to go into the sign of Leo, which is going to give us all kind of like a more chill period around aggressive themes. I feel like when we had Mars going through the sign of Cancer, so many things have happened. Like, I feel like the very first day that we had Mars enter Cancer, LA caught on fire, which it has never caught on fire before. Like, we've had places in California that happened, but like never in actual LA. And then we also had planes crashing down. We've had like a lot of natural events and like very intense things happening because Cancer is all about our home life, our domestic life. It's like where we live. And when you have Mars going through that sign, especially when it was retrograde back in like January and February, it brought so much intensity to like what was happening in our home life. It was so intense. Like, we had planes crashing down, quite literally. And then once it went direct, we didn't have as much intensity as it pertains to the home life stuff, but it was still happening. There was still like, forest fires and tornadoes and natural disasters. But I do think that once we hit about April 19th, 18th, when Mars transitions into the sign of Leo, things are going to get a little bit better. It's not going to be as intense. It's not going to be as like, oh my gosh, everything in the world is crashing down around me. It's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to have that Cancer energy there anymore. It's going to be more focused on like theater performance. People might start coming into prominence as it pertains to new celebrities. We might have more people entertaining us now. And especially because Jupiter is getting really, really close to Cancer, as it's going to be transitioning into the sign of Cancer in June, we might see a lot of new like Libra risings in our media, and we might see a lot more just like new energy start to pop up basically. Like I feel like April is going to be so much different, but it's also going to be also kind of like, it's where like the dust settled after the upheaval we experienced in March, but then it's also like we're right before this big new wave of new people, new technology, new things happening throughout 2025. I do have predictions created for each of the rising signs, and I'm gonna kind of give you guys an explanation for each of the rising signs. So I would check your sun, moon, and rising for each, because I feel like it's going to be like a little bit complicated this month because there's like a lot going on basically. So check your sun, moon, and rising to get like a full picture of what will happen for you. So Aries risings. If you're an Aries rising, this is going to be the first month where you experience Neptune going through your first house. And you might find that when you have Neptune transiting your first house, you could be kind of confused about how you present yourself in the world. You could feel like this month is just like you're so unsure about who you are. Like you don't really understand about who you are. You could look at yourself in the mirror and be like, this is not how I feel on the inside anymore. This is not who I am anymore. I feel like a completely different person. I don't want to present this way. And you could begin to kind of go through this like period of your life where you decide to start changing your appearance, and you could be somebody who wants to like completely shift and change everything about yourself in order to reach a new level of who you want to be. You could look in the mirror, you could look at your name, you could look at your face, your hair color, and everything, and be like, this is so confusing to me. Like the way I'm presenting myself outwardly is not who I am. I feel differently. I want to change myself. I want to feel like this is like very, very different from like who I am. I don't necessarily feel like myself anymore. You might also find that for like the first half of this month, you will be spending more time in seclusion by yourself. You might work harder on yourself and your appearance. You could spend more time alone and really take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and to try to figure out who you are. You might also find that like you're gonna have more creative projects during this time too, with trying to like become something else. You could put more time and effort and money into like trying to become this new version of yourself, because every time you see yourself, it's foggy to you. Like it's not who you really are. Like, it's not exactly who you are. You want to figure out who you are as a person, and it might become more and more and more foggy. Like you're like, this is so confusing. And the time you spent alone, especially in the beginning of the month, will allow you to really reflect in on yourself and reflect who you are as a person. You might find that throughout this month, you might decide to start creating more things and really change the way you look. You could decide to change your hair color, your wardrobe, in order to start to become the person who you feel like in the inside. You might also find that the more you work on yourself and the more you seek to become this new version of yourself, if you share it on social media or share it out into the ether, more people will like you for that, and they want to see you like go through the transformations of yourself, because it's something you want to do. You want to work hard to transform yourself. You might find more power on social media at this time as well, because we've just had Pluto enter your 11th house of Aquarius. So you could feel like, I'm so unsure of myself, I want to create something. And when you share it on social media, more people are going to respect you and more people are going to want to follow you. And you might find that you're going to attract a lot of people in this way. Taurus Rising. So, Taurus, you have very recently found your career takeoff. You could have found a lot of very recent success in your career. You could have attracted a ton of power in your career very recently, and this has had like a big effect on you as a person. And you could have been in the spotlight. You could be making more money. Your finances could be improving. Your career could be amazing. All of a sudden, you got a promotion at work, or this is just an example. If like you're a music artist, you've been making music for like 10 years, all of a sudden it starts taking off and you become very, very successful. You have songs on the radio, stuff like that. And all of a sudden all the money is coming in now because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm being successful and things are happening for me. This is amazing. But you have to be careful because when you have these things happening to you, you have a lot of power in your public image right now. Just got a promotion at work, got a raise, you're making more money, people are liking you. The people who are closest to you might start to feel very envious and jealous, especially because of your circumstances. Like you are just being successful right now, but it's gonna bring a lot of envious eyes to you as well. Like people are gonna start to feel jealous and start to feel some sort of way. You might find that in April, a lot of people come out as hidden enemies, like people who once supported you or once were your ally are now envious of your success. And even though you thought that, oh, people are gonna like me now because I'm being successful, like all these strangers like me now, like all these people are playing my music, you know, but like why are the people around me turning into like haters? It's simply because like you are being really successful and they're not, so they've become more jealous and envious of your standing in your public image right now. You might find that the people who you've surrounded yourself with and might have even helped you become the person who you are today are starting to get envious, and they might do things to you where they're like nice to your face and then do something behind your back. You could start to experience these themes in your life as if you hadn't already started to experience these back in March, but in April it's going to continue. And the best like word of advice to kind of deal with this is to make sure that you can spend more time by yourself and more time alone, because when you're doing well, like you're succeeding in your career, you're attracting a lot of allies through people who are listening to your career. Like they're listening to your music, they're watching you on TV, they're enjoying you in the public eye. But those people might like you, but your close connections might turn into the, like, you know, hidden enemies. So it's better to kind of like remain in your own energy, and you might find that you're spending more time alone in order to mitigate any toxic situations. You could find that like you're removing yourself from situations more and more often and spending more time alone with your art in order to create more art for people to see in the public eye, and also protect your energy from any toxic people who could be surrounding you at this time. It's also like a really great way to like really focus on your own creativity and focus on your spiritual self in order to become more prosperous in your public image. Gemini Risings. If you are a Gemini Rising, you could really begin to start taking your career very seriously this month. You could start working on projects that will help change the way that you're seen in the public eye and with your social networks. And this is the month where you've already kind of backtracked a little bit when we were in March, but like now that we're in April, you're gonna really be focusing in on who you are in the public eye, what you seek to achieve with your public image. And you could have even gone through like a glow up throughout, like since May of 2024, like your appearance could have changed. You could have been on that new diet and fitness regimen. You could have changed the way you did your makeup, you could have changed your body, your wardrobe, live. You could have gone through like a glow up in a way. And this has really given you an opportunity to increase your public image, especially now in April of 2025. Like you could have found like your public image is a lot bigger than it was before, and it's like you're finding a lot more fame and recognition. Maybe you like started posting on TikTok and all of a sudden things are just like coming into fruition and you're like, oh my gosh, like everybody likes me because they think I'm beautiful and things are going super well. What else can I do? And you might find that like when we go through this entire month, you are now focused on creating this like image for yourself in the public and getting other people to see you through this new lens where you are in the public eye and you seek to connect with your networks and groups of people at this time. You could find that your networks start really being attracted to you. You could also find that like you're posting videos and content on social media, and people are just like magnetized towards you through this lens. You could also find that there could be a little bit of an illusion to what you're creating on social media, or like who you're interacting with on social media might be like, there could be a little bit of a difference like between your friends in real life and the people who you're attracting. You could also find that you're giving more opportunities to like go out and meet people more this month, or network with more people, or go to clubs and parties and stuff like that to see more people. And you could find that like the people who you're attracting now are like a little bit different. They could have a lot of Neptunian qualities, where they might be addicts, or they might like really partying a lot, or they could just be like addicted to things, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? You could also really attract people who are very creative. If you decide to really boost your public image, maybe you're now working with content creators, video producers, people who want to take your image and kind of put it into the ether and be like, this is our star, you know. You could be networking with more people like that from now on. And especially because of like the glow up you just went through, you're really feeling like this could be a really great path for me to be on. But again, be cautious about the groups of people who you're now networking with, because they could have a lot of Neptunian qualities. Like, yes, they're creative and talented and good with art, but, you know, at the same time, these people are going to be like, you know, they're going to have addictive qualities, and they could get into like more dark themes with like their life. And in order to maintain your own health, it's important that you really focus on your career and your networks on social media instead. Don't necessarily fall into the thing where like, oh, I'm feeling peer pressured to do this too, because that could happen to you in the next 14 years with the Neptune and Aries transit. You could easily fall into stuff like that, but make sure that you're maintaining your health and not getting peer pressured to things that other people are addicted to. If you are a Cancer rising, you might have found that recently in about March, your public image has gotten like a lot of recognition. Something could have happened where you were pushed into the spotlight. Maybe you're posting more on social media. Maybe you started your own business. Maybe you got a promotion at work. Like, you finally, after so many years, you got your promotion and you're very happy about it. But at the same time, but in order to get to that very next level, you could have felt like, okay, now I need to learn more and study a new skill that will help me get to where I need to be. You might start to backpedal and backtrack a lot and be like, okay, well, I just got a taste of like what I want. Like, this is the life I want to live, but like, how am I going to get to that next level? And you could start to think like, maybe if I travel more, or if I start thinking about more learning a new skill that will help me get to that next level in my life. And you could be like, okay, this month in April, I am going to learn a new skill that is going to help me with my public image. I'm going to start a new course curriculum. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get a new certificate, and I'm going to study a new skill that is going to help me get to where I need to be. The people at work say I need to have a master's degree in order to get promoted again officially this summer. So what I do is I'm going to start going back to school. I'm going to start putting in the effort in order to get that degree, get that new thing in my life, and I'm going to work really hard in order to achieve that thing. Or if like, again, you're like a content creator, maybe you take like an online course for graphic design, or an online course for video editing in order to expand upon your skills and really bring your skills to like the next level. You might also find that this month you are going to be very focused on how you present yourself in the public eye, and how you can create more things and tap into your innate creative talents in order to push yourself into the next level of where you seek to be in the public eye. You might also find that by late April, you will also be working harder by tapping into your public image, learning new skills. You'll be working harder to make more money in your job and in your career. And when you work hard with your public image, you're going to be able to increase your finances. So maybe you do finally learn that new thing. It helps you with your public image. And then by the end of April, you'll be able to increase your finances. Leo Rising. If you're Leo Rising, this month is very heavily focused on transformation and getting to the next level in your life where you are going to go through something very deep and spiritual to get to that next level in your life. You might find that you are working on transforming, changing things in your life in order to get to the next level. You could have recently experienced some intense themes as it pertains to large groups of people, or just like intensity as it pertains to even something like your career, where you are working harder to get to that thing, but then like you keep getting like pushed back in a way. And you could find that those things have been very traumatic over your life. So during this month of April, especially what happened in March, like very recently, you could find that things are going to shift and change, and you are going to need to transform yourself into getting where you need to be. You might find that you're going to start working a lot harder on themes in your life where you are going to be learning more things, learning more skills. And with the focus on like your current group affiliations, you're going to find that you are going to be working harder to transform. Like you could have even experienced some very intense things recently with like your one-on-one relationships and groups of people. So like those traumatic events are going to have you want to transform into a new version of you. And by the end of this month, the intensity isn't going to go away. It's still going to be there because you're about to have Mars enter your first house. So you might even decide to start transforming your appearance some. You could want to be like, I'm going to transform the personality traits in order to deal with the intensity that I just experienced with like Pluto going through my 7th house, Mars going through my 12th house. And right now, like I'm in the middle of transforming in order to deal with this stuff. It's kind of like an animal evolving in order to fit a different path in order to survive. It's like you're transforming for survival, basically. It's like you're going into a cocoon to protect yourself and then transforming into a butterfly. And by the end of this April, you're going to feel like that butterfly is going to come out of the cocoon and you're going to be a brand new person. And you might find that your personality is going to transform a lot. I would say by May and June, you might even find that you're going to start to get a little bit more protection from the things that might be happening in your life. You could feel like you're going to have more protection from suffering. And you could also find that you might gain more finances as well come this summer. Virgo Rising. So you have been very focused on your relationships recently. Like throughout March, some things could have happened that have been traumatic and made you really focus in on those relationships. You could have been reassessing your relationships. Like something could have happened to you in your life where you've been like working on transforming them. You in particular could have experienced like a lot of lift in like your public image since 2024. Maybe you started trending on the internet. Maybe you got a movie deal. Maybe you got like, you know, you're trending on the internet or in the public eye in some way. Maybe you even got like a promotion at work or you started a new business. So you've been like, you know, publicly seen. And then in March, you could have experienced like upheaval with your relationships. Like something could have happened with them. And now that we're like in April, you're really focused on like building those relationships back up because you're going to find it's so important with your current public image. And if you want to stay in the public eye and being like, you know, very successful in the public eye, it's important for you to be like very on top of your relationships. I would say to be very cautious around the end of this month, Virgo Rising, because Mars is about to enter your 12th house of Leo, and you might find that your relationships still could be rocky and turbulent during this time as well. I feel like sometimes when we have a elevated public image, people who are once our biggest supporters turn out to be hidden enemies, and people might be nice to you to your face, but then might do something behind your back. So you might start to experience this, but however, you're still going to have success. Like you're still going to be successful. You have to know that, Virgo Rising. You might also find that in your life right now, you're going to have a big focus on your relationships. That's going to play a huge part in your life and your appearance. And you could also find that people might start acting jealously or intensely because of your visuals and your elevated public image right now. People could be like, oh, that person's not that great, or blah, 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 blah. I feel this way because this and this and this. But remember, it's all going to be just rooted in their own jealousy, and the jealousy that like you have a elevated public image right now and people like you right now. So like people are gonna feel like this some sort of way towards you. Like I feel like sometimes also people will fixate on appearance of people and not their actual like results or what they've accomplished, because when somebody is in the spotlight. So you could also find like a lot of people might be nice to your face, but then be kind of like not so nice behind your back. You could experience that a lot, Virgo rising. And this theme is going to continue. So my advice to you is to really just focus on your career, focus on the things that are working, and try to like maintain your own mental health. Don't let people get to you, because that's very possible with like the current transit happening in the sky. By the end of April, things will get more intense, like to be 100% honest, but you're still going to be doing well in the public eye. You're going to still be doing well throughout the next like 2 years. So don't worry too much about it. Don't worry about people too much. Try to maintain your mental health and like not be around people who are toxic to you, because with the current transits in the sky, that could very well happen. Libra rising, this month you are working harder than ever. You have been working so hard since January and February on your new public image. Libra risings in particular are just like getting ready. This is the calm before the storm for Libra risings. Libra risings are about to be getting paid. They're about to be in the public eye. They're about to be going viral on the internet. All eyes are going to be on Libra risings in the next 2 years. They're going to be the spotlight and center of attention, whereas we haven't seen like Libra risings in the spotlight for a long time. But right now, Libra risings, you guys are working so hard in order to get where you need to be. If you didn't really do much for your public image last year, now this year you worked really hard. You're like trying to get there as fast as you can. You've had so many 6th house transits. You might even be working yourself to the point of burnout. You might be like, oh, I really need to take a break, but oh, I have to work on this because of this. Like you could really feel that energy right now, and you could really feel like that's what's going on. Like because you have Pluto going through your 5th house at this point in time, you might feel like you need to create stuff. You might have completely changed your job into content creation. And with Jupiter almost aspecting your 10th house of Cancer, which it will enter it in June, you could feel like you're working really hard for something and you are going to eventually get there come May, June, and July. You're gonna get there. You can taste it. It's on the tip of your tongue, and you're working so hard to get there, and you will get there very soon. This is the calm before the storm for Libra risings. Libra risings will get there. It's like so quick. It's like you're almost there. You're also going to experience, just like you've experienced so many 6th house transits, which is going to indicate that like you are working very diligently towards it, and you again are like on the point of burnout, that you're working so hard. You might also find that tapping into your spiritual self as well, because the South Node is transiting your 12th house. So you might even be like praying for this too. Like you're working hard, you're praying, you're turning to spirituality to try to get where you need to be. And it's going to happen come May, June, and July. And it's going to be there. Like you're going to be good. Like everything's going to be okay, Libra rising. You've been through so much over the past like 20 years since 2008 with Pluto going through your 4th house and having Uranus go through your 8th house, that like so many things have happened to you, but now it is time. Now it is time to step into your power, and we're about to see more Libra risings in the spotlight again. And you are also going to find that the next year you're going to be like all eyes on you. You're not going to be able to get out of the spotlight. You might even be starting your own business, Libra rising. Like you could start a small business. You could try to monetize more off of your audience, because like you could be in the spotlight consistently. So you could create like a product or something to help yourself. Libra risings are going to have like, April is going to be the last month that you're working so hard to the point of exhaustion, because May is going to be like smooth sailing. June is going to be smooth sailing. So you're almost there. Libra risings, this month you're also going to start to find that your relationships with people are going to take on more of Neptunian qualities, because Neptune's about to be posted up through your 7th house. So you're going to find that like the people you attract in your life are going to be all creative in some way, or just kind of like addictive personalities. So you're going to be attracting like video editors, photographers, people to help you with seek to achieve. You're going to attract a lot of creative people into your life in order to help you get to where you need to be in life. Libra rising, you are almost there, and it is going to happen very soon. Scorpio Rising, this month for you is going to be kind of initially spent on your own creativity. You could be spending a lot more time on trying to create things, and you might have also found recently that things have really been a little bit rocky and turbulent for you. You could have been experiencing some mental health stuff or bullying from other people, or just like negative things that have been happening for you in your life, unfortunately. Like, because of the transits of Jupiter going through your 8th house and Pluto going through your 4th house, you could be trying to cope with this through you working hard and to create things. You could be working really, really hard on content creation, or you could be working hard as an artist, making music, something like that, in order to cope with all the things that are happening to your life. Sometimes we find that the strongest artists go through a lot of things in order to go through a lot of things, and from that, they are able to create some amazing, amazing art. You could find this, like, you could find that you are coping with what's going on in your life through art. And you could also find that you're attracting more people in your life who are very intense, and you might not even realize it's happening, but it's happening to you. And once we reach like the end of this month, things are going to get a little bit better. It's going to be a little intense. You're still going to experience these 8th house and 4th house transits. But by the end of this month, you're going to be shifting your focus from like all of this creativity into your work life. And you're going to find that you're going to find your public image elevating a little bit, because when Mars enters Leo, you might start to feel like this energy is pulling you to put those things that you just created into the spotlight. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to work really hard on something and post it online, and it's going to go viral. And you will find that most likely it will, because you're going to have Mars going through your 10th house. You're going to feel like, okay, I worked really hard. All these things are happening to me. I'm having some emotional things happening to me right now. People are bullying me. My relationships are so rocky and turbulent. I'm so confused what's happening in my life. I'm going to create things, and from that creation, I'm going to share it with the universe. I'm putting all of this stuff that I feel into my art, and I'm going to put it into the universe. And that will actually help you create your public image. Having a Scorpio rising, you're going to feel like you have this like magneticism to you and charisma that people want to see you. Like, they want to see you in your real life. They want to see the real stuff, you know? So when you take all of that energy, you create something out of it, and they put it into the universe, you're going to feel like you're going to feel like it's going to be like, you're going to feel like things are going to feel a little bit better. And by the end of this month, you might also take more time to focus on your day-to-day routine and your mental health, which will help you a little bit, but you're still going to experience some of these themes as well. Sagittarius Rising. If you're Sagittarius Rising, you may feel that recently you've been working a lot on your home life. You could have felt more creatively inspired to change your home life and change the things around you. You could have felt that recently you have been working harder on social media and harder on your relationships, and more positive relationships have happened in your life. And you could be also attracting more women in your life, and those are going to be the people who are surrounding you recently, or who have been recently surrounding you. And in doing so, because you want to really show everybody like who you are, you want to post more on social media, because Pluto has been recently going through your 3rd house, and it's going to be there until 2024. You are taking more care about your home life, your domestic situation, people who are around you. You're going to try to make your life a little bit better. So when you go and you post on social media, things look better. Like, you might be working really hard in the beginning of this month to change your living situation, or decorating your living space in a way that things get a little bit better for when you're creating content. And you're also going to find that you're going to start attracting more people into your life who are women, or attracting more relationships who are like your best friends who are women into your life. You might also find that by the end of this month, you are going to experience more creativity. So you could start to like work harder on your home life in order to be able to create more content at home, and it will look better on social. Capricorn Rising. Recently, you could have been working really hard on on your own intellectual pursuits, Maybe you decided to write a book or start a blog or start a Substack where you can put all your thoughts on paper and you can write about them and share them with the world. You could have also found that recently more money has been entering your life, and you could have been realize that the amount of work you've been recently putting in, you are starting to increase your finances and you are becoming more financially stable than you were ever previously. Because when you have Pluto going through your second house, things can be you could attract a lot of money and your finances could go through a period of transformation. And with all of the third house energy you have going on right now, you could feel like you are being able to profitize off of something that involves your own intellectual activity. You could also find that you're starting to really have, and you could have also really recently attracted a lot of relationships into your life. However, be careful of prying eyes come the end of this month, because you're about to have Mars go through Leo, which is your 8th house, and you might attract jealousy from this. Like all those new people who just entered your life from January, those people might start to get a little jealous of you. So be careful about who you let into your life come the end of this March or end of this April, because you might be doing well on social media. You might be having like a beautiful home at this time, and you might have a lot of positive things. You might be attracting the money, but be careful of the people who you surround yourself with, because when you start to let them into your life, they could become very jealous of you and envious, and they could seek to destroy you. So be careful of who you let into your life. Aquarius Rising, this month is going to be very focused for you on your own personal finances and how you make money. You might be very, very focused on the things and the themes around you that involve finances. Maybe you recently came into an idea to make more money with your appearance. Maybe you started modeling, maybe you started your own clothing line and are sharing that online. And maybe this has recently started to allow you to profitize off of it. And you might have found that you have been working really, really hard since like January on this new endeavor or this new project. And things are going to start to come into fruition at the end of this April, where you're going to start to attract more people into your life who want to work with you or be with you in some way. They might find that you're very attractive, and what you're doing on social media and who you are in the public eye is very attractive to them, so they could want to be your friend. You might also find that this month brings a huge elevation in your own personal finances, and you could find that your own personal finances increase this month and you start making more money. You could also decide that by the end of this month, you could want to start blog posting or creating written communications, or even just posting more on social media about your business, and this will help you bring in more money and become more financially stable. Pisces Rising. So Pisces Rising, this month you're more fixated on your appearance this month. You could be kind of focused on going to the gym more often. You could be focused on the way you look in order to attract better relationships in your life. Right now we have the North Node transiting your first house along with Saturn and multiple planets in your first house. So you might have found that like since February, you have been so focused on your own appearance. Like you could have gone through a big glow up recently, or maybe you have been just working really hard on yourself in order to attract a partner or attract more friends in your life. And you might also find that you're working really hard on this. It's possible that even though you intended for this to be kind of like to attract a partner, instead you're just making more money posting yourself on social media because you're more attractive now and people like to see you. And this is going to help you with your finances in the long term. You might also find that your own personal living situation is getting like kind of like a glow up as well. And you're going to find that come May, you are going to start to find that more people enter your life and want to have fun with you. So you could be creating more art, which you're very talented at. So all these new relationships that you're attracting will attract people who want to work with you, help you out financially, party with you, and also create work with you and help you use your appearance to create content on social media, or do something like model where you can use your appearance in order to become successful. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Elizabeth. I post videos on YouTube about astrology every single week. I hope you enjoy this video and it's very educational. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this.